Hey guys, and welcome back to my floor. It is currently the 10th of May and I am going to be speaking about a challenge that I did in April. It's been almost 2 weeks. We don't need to talk about it. I have started my internship. I am tired. From the 1st of April to the 30th of April 2020, I wrote poetry every single day, and I learned 3 major things. 1, I really like writing poetry. 2, I'm really bad at writing poetry. And 3, I need to see a therapist. So, what is Escapril? As far as I'm concerned, it was a poetry challenge started by Savannah Brown on Instagram, and I think it's only been going for 2 years. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. But if I'm not, then you can quote me on that. At the beginning of the month, you are given a list of prompts that you have to follow. You can choose to not follow the prompts, but I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of the challenge. See, I live like right next to a garage. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Keep doing that. You are given a list of 30 prompts, 1 for each day, and then you write a poem of some sorts every single day, and then you can post it if you want to, but you don't have to. I posted 1, and that's it. Now, why would I want to fuck around and try to turn myself into the next Edgar Allan Poe? The world, when this was happening, was in disarray. Everything is slowly and surely turning back to like normal as you can be when you see everyone wearing masks and no one wants to like look each other in the eyes still, but normal-ish. 1st of April, I was about this close to losing my absolute marbles, and you can kind of tell from the way that I was writing. I've always been a creative artist. I'm in film school. I used to write poetry when I was in high school as well, and I posted them under, I don't think the Tumblr exists anymore. I think it was like Rosy Lace Curtains or something. At that time, most of them were about the fact that this guy that I liked in like the 10th grade didn't like me back. And I was writing this 2 years later. So, great at getting over things. But when I saw that Escapril was happening, I was like, I mean, I've done an art challenge before, which I created for myself called Artpril. Escapril was a bit easier for me for the sole fact that sitting down and like writing something was a lot more comfortable than drawing. Because, I mean, yes, the writing took me about, I don't know, like half an hour every day, but the drawings could sometimes take like hours. So, how I did it. I have a Word document on my computer called Thoughts that is password protected because that document is my actual diary. I am opening myself up for so much. Like, if someone gets my laptop and gets that password, I am in deep shit. In the beginning, I would go back into the Instagram every single day and check what the prompt was. I think that lasted for about 4 days until I just took a screenshot and then wrote it all out, like by day, into the Word document so that I could just open the document and then see the prompt and start writing instead of having to like open the document, go to Instagram, search for the Escapril Instagram, scroll to find like the original post with the prompts, find the prompt, write in the prompt, and then start writing. We are trying to make it as easy for ourselves to just become Shakespeare, basically. After I had written it in the Word document, I wrote it all out by hand in my journal. This is my bullet journal. Most of it is just like a planner, but in the back, wait, I can find it. Here's my Escapril. So every single day, or sometimes I would save up a few days, but I wrote every single one of them out. Some of them are really long, so some of them took up like over half a page. Some of them were a solid 5 lines. I think the shortest one was 5 lines. No, we have one that's only 4 lines long. Would you look at that? Let's talk about my poems, my works of art, if you want. I've decided to categorize them in 6 categories. Number 1 is Time is Real and We're All Gonna Die, which was a category that when I created it, I thought that was going to be like the biggest one. It wasn't. Category 2 is What's the point of living if I'm not famous? Number 3 is I had a fucked up childhood. Number 4 is Miscellaneous, because I don't know how to properly categorize a poem that I wrote just solely about colors, hence the birth of the miscellaneous category. We have the category, is that hope? Question mark? For the more uplifting and happier poems. And then we have the winner with 13 poems in it. I have depression. I ended April with some actually pretty good poems. Like I wrote some pretty good poems and I wrote some poems that were so bad, especially the ones where I tried to rhyme things. I would rather read the poems that I wrote about my unrequited love from 10th grade out loud than have to read the rhyming poems that I tried to write in April 2020. Train wreck, disaster, didn't need to happen, but I'm glad I did it because at least I know that I'm not that good. There were times where I would end up writing multiple poems for the same prompt. I would write one poem that I started with an idea and then the poem just veered off into God knows what. I'm left with a poem. I'm like, okay, this is fine, but maybe I should see if I can get this back on track to the first original thought that I had. So I tried to write the poem again. Sometimes I wrote poems where I tried to rhyme. Those were really bad. At one time, I wrote a love poem about a celebrity. I talked about his hair at all. Sometimes I would get just a little funny thought and I'd write it down in the bottom. There's one where the prompt was blank as a weapon and I just wrote throw some grass on me and use it as a weapon and I'll sneeze my way out or something. Because I have really bad allergies and I don't know why, but I mean, it's kind of fun to just like hear a prompt and you're like, I mean, the best sort of weapon to use against me would be grass because I can't breathe during the summer. At the end of the day, it felt good. Not because I had discovered that I was some undiscovered poetic talent that the world needed to see or hear the thoughts of, because trust me, you don't. But you get this sense of accomplishment of just like, hey, I decided to do something and then I did it. And I mean, it was a longer task than being like, I am going to go for a walk. And then you do that and then you feel good about yourself. This was every single day before I went to bed. I sat down and I went, okay, let's disappoint someone. I've run out. I've mentioned Edgar Allan Poe and I've mentioned Shakespeare and now let's disappoint Rupi Kaur. Oh, I got an email. Also, what's really good is you don't have to show it to people. I mean, I'm making a YouTube video about it and like probably shoving some of the fucking poems in here just to like illustrate my points. I don't know. You don't have to do that. You don't have to tell people that you're doing this. It felt good. Like I felt like a better person just because I was like reflecting on my thoughts, which like, yes, I did realize that oh God, I'm sad because people write about the things that are important to them. And apparently the most important things to me are slight hope, being sad, and being famous. Like, so at the end of the day, I am left with a little over 30 poems and sense of accomplishment. I don't know. Join in next year. I don't know. Savannah Brown, you're great. I don't know how I'm ending this. I hope everyone is having a lovely day and still washing your hands and not walking out like idiots in the street and yelling in the face of policemen. And I'll see you guys later. Ba-doop-ba-doop. Big market. I bought this shirt and I feel I'm giving myself Harry Styles vibes, which is great for my confidence, but like, I feel sorry for Harry Styles.